This is Base the Kid, the hardcore casual, in association with the Undefeated podcast, proudly sponsored by Disturbing Sports London, and I'm delighted to once again be joined by my resident jack of all trades, Dev SAHNI, who I'm going to start calling D-Sans. I think I like that as a nickname. I'm just going with D-Sans from now on. It's quicker to say. Dev, let's talk about Fury versus Usyk, this press conference. Now, with regards to, Fury being very much a free spirit, off-the-cuff type of guy, and Usyk, obviously, English not being his first language, can understand it, can speak it a bit, but, sometimes goes through the translator. Did it go about as well as could be expected, or maybe would you have hoped it could have been better up there?
I don't know, I thought it actually ended up peaking quite early because Tyson came in and just started responding to Krasic, responding to Usyk, calling him names, etc, etc. So essentially what you want from these press conferences are little moments, little clips that could hopefully go viral, and we actually ended up getting that quite early. So I ended up finishing it probably before I thought I would, because Tyson was like, we've said everything we need to say, it's done, sort of thing. So I was like, okay, he'd probably like to end the press conference at this point. We don't want to go too far and it becomes a bit rubbish. So I think it was just about right. We got a few moments out of it, and then of course the head-to-head, Sly Stallone getting involved as well. I was quite happy with it.
Let's talk about that. Now, that was a very big surprise. I don't know how many people knew, obviously, that Mr. Sylvester Stallone would be here, but yeah, let's talk about that. Rocky himself here, ready to crown and christen the undisputed heavyweight title, the first one in 24 years. Like, how did that come about? Any ideas?
It's all just the power of His Excellency. I mean, the last time there was a launch press conference here for Fury versus Ngannou in this venue, His Excellency was up there. I believe Naomi Campbell was close by as well. So yeah, you like that, didn't you? So you're right, okay, come on. Rio Ferdinand was knocking about, but it was like there's a lot of stars get attracted to things like this. His Excellency's obviously got a great black book. He's got great relationships, and I think just the scale and size of this event is you will see in February in Riyadh how many people are going to be there that you saw it for Fury and Ngannou. That was crazy. Did you see any of the gala dinner stuff?
I saw a few bits and pieces, yeah.
It was just like, so me and Andy Clark was doing the live stream for that, and I wasn't expecting much. I didn't know who was going, and so I turned around, like Brazilian Ronaldo's coming, followed by Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Lennox Lewis, and I feel like, okay, what else can you actually do for the Fury Usyk one? So I don't know who's left, but maybe like Floyd Mayweather. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, look, they big events attract big names.
So look, let's talk about the two fighters. Like, last time me and you spoke, I did say, well, look, if Tyson Fury struggles with Francis Ngannou, is that potentially showing that maybe he is either on the decline or that people will start to write him off? And then conversely, we also spoke about Alexander Usyk with the body shot / low blow with Daniel Dubois, and is he still as nimble and whatever? So with these two guys, is there enough, would you say, maybe slippage on both sides, whereby if someone thought that one was a heavy favourite last time, they're now more 50-50, or do you still feel like there is a supremely strong favourite out of the two?
Well, I mean, for that you'd have to ask the bookies. Like, from everything I'm hearing, I haven't checked the odds. From everything I'm hearing, the odds have tightened after Fury and Ngannou, and from what I've seen, more people are starting to pick Alexander Usyk as well. Which is great. Which is great for the fight. You don't want an overwhelming favourite in this fight. You do want that intrigue of like, okay, well, Fury did X, Y, Z against Ngannou. Imagine if that was Usyk in there. We want to have all of these conversations. So I'm here for it. I think I would imagine Fury is still the favourite. Again, you can only go by the bookies, but the odds have probably tightened. Both guys will have some questions to answer though, because as you say, after Usyk Dubois, there was all of the controversy, and Daniel Dubois definitely hurt Alexander Usyk. That is, you can't dispute that. That happened in that fight. And Ngannou put down Tyson Fury. So yeah, they'll have questions to answer. Where are they in their careers? I still think Tyson is at his best. Maybe I'm deluded, I don't know, but he's 35 years old. He's like a year younger than Terence Crawford, by the way, who's 36 and dominating. He's not an old man. Neither of these guys are old men. It's not late 30s, 40. I think the fight's happening at the perfect time, where they're both just exactly at the right point.
Well, I would say one counter to that before we get back into it. you're right. He is actually younger than Crawford. He's still sort of in and around what should be prime years, but he hasn't always necessarily lived the life, and that's something that sometimes can aid you a lot quicker than someone who is always in the gym, always stays active. Speaking of that, now obviously with the Ngannou fight, I remember Johnny Nelson said one of two things: either Tyson didn't respect the fight enough to train properly for it, or if he did train for it, his legs look like they've gone because he wasn't able to sort of move around as much as he used to. In your opinion, which one would you say it was if you had to pick one or the other?
I think he definitely trained for it. I think he was in fighting shape for the fight. I think it was more just about Francis Ngannou being a real handful that Tyson couldn't really contain properly on the night. He contained it. Ultimately, he won the fight. I know people are... It's largely the haters or people who have got something against Tyson saying he lost, it was a robbery. But Ngannou didn't win more rounds than Fury in the fight. Fury won the fight. But I think with Ngannou, the whole thing was no one's ever seen him box before, so there's nothing to go by. No one would have thought that he was going to suddenly switch southpaw and start having success as a southpaw. No one would have thought that Fury couldn't use his weight like he normally does to properly contain Ngannou. He couldn't do that. You saw that. Ngannou was just shrugging him off. So normally he's used to just pushing guys down. Everyone just thought it would just be the same thing against Ngannou. Ngannou won't know what he's doing in there. He really did know what he was doing. So I think we have to give a lot of credit to Ngannou for just being significantly better than most people expected. And with the Usyk fight, Tyson's got a lot of tape to watch. His team have got a lot of tape to watch. You know what to look for, you know what to prepare for, you know the patterns, and it should make for easier preparation.
And to be fair, it's no secret sort of my feelings on Tyson Fury at times. However, I do also think he did win the fight. I did have it 95-94, 6 rounds to 4 for him. So yeah, I guess even on his worst day, he can still come through a crisis. So in terms of mentality, that has to be a great thing to have for, when in a very high pressured situation like the 17th of February will be, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
look, I quite like that he's in a position where people are writing him off again. That's good. It happened after the Otto Wallin fight. People were saying, look at that cut on your head. Should you be struggling with this guy called Otto Wallin? Should you be having hard fights with him? You've got Wilder next, right? Are you going to be all right with that? He was all right with that, and then he went and knocked him out. And he told us what he was going to do, and then he knocked him out again. So I like that he's coming up against it a little bit. People are backing against him. It makes the potential victory sweeter, and I think he rises to the occasion. He wasn't supposed to go to Germany and beat Vladimir Klitschko when his best win was Derek Chisora. That's not supposed to happen. You've boxed at European level. How can you go and beat the long reigning best heavyweight in the world? He did it. So he's got big performances still in him, I think, and it could be another one February 17th, December 23rd. I'm getting the two.
Well, no, with regards to that, so one thing you just said there, he couldn't necessarily lean on Ngannou, use his weight. Ngannou was strong.
You saw that, though, right? He was a beast.
I did watch it the day after. Didn't watch it live, but I did see it the day after. Now, with regards to that, so I know that you said previously that probably, what if he does it to Usyk, and that might get him tired. Do you think that Usyk and his team have almost game planned for Tyson to try those, grappling roughhouse tactics, or do you feel like they're going to just try and figure it out on the day?
I think they will plan for it. I think Tyson will plan to do that to him. Look, Alexander Usyk wasn't able to keep away from Derek Chisora for all 12 rounds. I think it was a 12-round fight. He wasn't able to keep him off, right? And Tyson Fury is bigger, stronger, heavier than Derek Chisora, and he'll back himself to be able to wear him out and make him very uncomfortable in there. So it'll be up to Team Usyk to understand that, to know that. I think they do know that, and sort of plan around it. It could be a very tough night for him because Usyk's up against a heavyweight who is going to fight like a proper heavyweight should and use his size and make Usyk feel small. No one's actually been able to do that yet. I thought Daniel Dubois would box him like that, use his size, use his power, intimidate him, but he didn't. But I think Tyson Fury will.
Okay, last one with regards to that, and then we can kind of move on to what happened yesterday. You say you thought that Daniel would do it. A lot of people thought AJ would do it. A lot of people thought that Chisora would do it. So do you think there just could be something with Usyk that he just doesn't allow people to do what they want to do?
Well, Chisora did do it for a bit. That's the thing. Chisora did give him quite a hard fight in there at times. So he was able to pressure him. There was a time that Joe Joyce would have. Wow! Imagine the sort of pressure that Joe Joyce would put on Alexander Usyk. But Joyce has since struggled with a southpaw in Zhang, so you have to reassess that, and you have to think, well, Usyk is a very, very good southpaw, probably the best southpaw out there. But yeah, if Derek Chisora was able to have success by pressuring him, by being bigger, by being horrible, by being nasty, well, Tyson Fury is bigger, more horrible, more nasty. So you'd think he could do it too.
Fair enough. So let's talk about yesterday real quick now. So again, Dev doing what Dev does. Dev gets to be on a big platform. Dev sitting next to both Anthony Joshua and Frank Warren, with Eddie Hearn actually being off to the side. How do you think both you and Frank felt to almost say, Eddie, you're almost like our undercard on this situation? Because that's kind of how it looked like on the table. He was just AJ's promoter. He didn't really speak until AJ told him that no, you're speaking for me. We'll talk about that in a moment, but how did you and Frank feel about you sort of being the head honchos with so many other promoters in and around?
I don't think we're giving it an awful lot of thought. I think, look, it's about working together. His Excellency has a vision to give great fights to boxing, and I think egos are being put to one side to ensure that happens. So I feel like there's enough grown-up energy out there to ensure that there aren't thoughts like that or people making comments like that. So, didn't really give it much thought.
Speaking of that, actually, so when you sort of went through the card, a lot of people felt like, all right, it looks grandiose, but there's a lot of fights on here that maybe, while they might be good fights, they're not the fights that we wanted. Their energy was a bit tame at times, up until Jarrell Miller sort of came on the scene.
I knew he would.
Were you kind of happy when he started speaking up to bring some more energy to the press, or was you more like, no, let's just keep it chill and everyone...
No, look, I looked around at who was up there. I saw that Anthony Joshua didn't really give me anything, wasn't going to give me anything. Wilder seemed to come on a humble sort of energy as well. There's a few guys that can't speak very good English up there as well. Ellis Soro was very humble. Opatai wasn't going to have a go at Ellis Soro. So I thought this could be quite a tame one, but I have got a hidden secret weapon at the end of the table there who has said all sorts of things to Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder and plenty of other people in the past. That's why I went to him with the question and said, thanks for everything you said, but by the way, you've said this about Joshua, you're meant to fight him, you got anything to say to anyone up here? And he took it, and great. Look, he's one of the most talked about heavyweights out there. I think he's, alongside Tyson Fury, the best trash talker. I'd love to see them trash talking at a press conference one day. I don't think I'd need a mic for that press conference, but I think Miller lifted the energy. We had a little moment with Joshua. It was a press conference full of moments. But a lot of these guys were just going to say thank you, great to be here.
How good was it being up there and seeing like Dimitri Salita, Shelley Finkel, Eddie Hearn, just all of these people coming together and saying, you know what, we can put it aside, probably because there's a lot of money on the table here, but we can actually come together and get sort of the best fights on, even if they're not necessarily the fight you want in the time, it's the best fight available right now. How did that feel?
It was great. It was great to see so many of the best promoters out there, best managers out there, all come together. It's all because of Riyadh season. It's all because of Saudi Arabia. They're kind of fixing boxing in areas that boxing is a little bit broken or a little bit behind. They're coming along and fixing it, and they don't care about any promoter rivalries or anything like that. They just want to crack on and put on big fights. And this is His Excellency. He's just a massive boxing fan, and maybe he didn't understand why he wasn't seeing the best fights. So he's like, well, let me come and see them. Let me do something here, and it's we are all benefiting from it.
And obviously, let's now talk about you and Anthony Joshua and the clear friction that was up on stage. Were you surprised that he was not willing to take any questions from you or engage with you up there, or did you think that he might be, for lack of a better word, a bit more professional just because that's the environment? What did you think?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. If he wants to do that's fine. It didn't, like people are saying, did you Were you a bit nervous? What did it feel like? It didn't. I didn't really care. I think it's up to him if he wants to do that.
You have talked some shit about him before, to be fair.
I have picked against him. There's no doubt about that. If someone asks me, is Tyson Fury better than Anthony Joshua? Would he beat Anthony Joshua? I'd say yes. Would Deontay Wilder beat Anthony Joshua? My opinion is yes. And what I liken it to is football, right? So if I'm a Man United fan, would Man United beat Chelsea? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I think they would. You wouldn't get Chelsea, the Chelsea manager or some of the Chelsea players going, I'm not going to talk to you because you said that Man United would beat us. They probably wouldn't care. I wasn't expecting him to really care that I've picked against him in a sport that he competes in a potential bout. I didn't expect that, but it's what it is.
Fair enough. Okay, we're going to wrap up in a moment, but before we do, I want to speak about the card this weekend, the Magnificent Seven. Obviously, a new fight has taken place with Solomon Dacus, I guess replacing a previous one. I was planning on going up there. I'm unable to, but I want you to let the people know why they should tune in to such a brilliant card when there is other options on that same night.
Is there? No, but look, for me, it's one of the best shows in the UK, maybe the best show scheduled top to bottom in the UK this year. Nick Ball against Isaac Dogbay. I keep thinking about that fight. I don't know what's going to happen. Who's going to push who back? They're both sort of the same sort of fighter. Maybe I'm quite lazy in that because they're the same stocky, short kind of guy. But I can't wait to see who can push who back and who comes on top. Nick Ball's been getting a lot of hype from us. He's getting a great following as well. He's getting up there. Could become a name. Win over Isaac Dogbay, who only has losses to Emmanuel Navarrete and Rosie Ramirez. It means an awful lot. You enter a lot of high-level conversations. Nathan Heaney, his dream is to become British middleweight champion. But as I say, he's got a nightmare in front of him. Denzel Bentley, who is a world-level middleweight for me. Bit more belief, he may have beaten Janibek. I think he carries himself like a world champion as well, like an uncrowned world champion. He thinks he's going to knock Heaney out. He thinks if he can't knock him out, he wants to 120, 108 him. He doesn't want to be losing any sort of rounds to Nathan Heaney. So it's a great show. They're the sort of two main fights. And of course, we've got a unified super welterweight female fight between Hannah Rankin and Emma Kozin, which it's just for the WBC title initially. Now the WBO's got added as well. So it's a brilliant card. And there's a lot of fights where it's the most important fight in the career of the fighter. And I don't think you're necessarily getting that every week or on other shows.
Oh, actually, one last question. Going back to the Day of Reckoning card. Now, to me, there's 4 very, very good fights on there that I believe. Joshua Wallin, I think, is a great fight. Parker and Wilder, I think, is a great fight. Ajit Kabayel and Makhmudov, I think, is very intriguing. And I think, to me personally, fight of the night is Dubois and Jerome Miller. That's the most intriguing for myself.
I'm with you on that. I love that fight, big time.
However, there is one fight which myself and I think everyone is mortified by. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm asking, and you know me, I keep it real. Filip Hrgović and Mark Demore, why was that sanctioned?
I mean, look, he's won 11 on the bounce. He's unbeaten in 6 years. He's heavy-handed. He's got a good record. I expect Filip Hrgović to win that fight, but you heard Mark Demore yesterday. He's coming with plenty of fire, and he's coming to swing it out with Hrgović. How long that lasts, how far that takes him, we'll find out. But what did we say was going to happen with Fury and Ngannou? He didn't have a chance, right? Now you've got half the world saying that he beat Tyson Fury. So let's learn some lessons as boxing fans. Let's not be so quick to write off, particularly in the heavyweight division, one 17, 18 stone man to be able to land a punch on another 17, 18 stone man and cause damage.
D-Sans, thank you very much for your time.
I'll take that.
We will speak again soon, man. Thank you very much.
No problem. I was quite happy with that.